This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hey everybody, this is Party Loaded for the 13th of April 2016. My name's Luke Ratelek. Welcome to episode 21, and to welcome us to episode 21 proper, we've got a couple of people here to do that with. So, starting tonight, we have the highly distinctive Imogen. Hello, how are you going?
Highly distinctive. Wow, high praise.
It means freak.
Hi, guys. Yeah, Ollie, before the stream, you and I already have beef, so let's not carry it on.
Already had beef. No, I was more referring to the good news that you received earlier today, which you shared with the group.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, woo.
Yeah. So all them
when
studies
I thought I'd failed
off.
my assignment because I saw a D, and then I was like, wait, D's are good.
Yeah.
University grades.
That's right. Imogen loves the D. Olly!
Hello. I sound very different, and that's probably going to weird our listeners. I was about to say viewers.
I was going to say,
out.
we have the highly audible Olly this week, which is a
Hello.
nice change.
I hope
You
we
can
don't
hear
have
me
any
properly now.
viewers.
I'm available on audible.com. Not actually sponsored on Audible. Just
That's right. Check that shit out. All right. And not joining us tonight, unfortunately, is Gem Factory Jam. For reasons that should be evident in that title, pretty much. So, unfortunately, with the recent Division update, Jam has been infected by the Dollar Flu once again and is recovering from some freakish
getting an
stuff.
immune system transplant as we speak.
Pretty much.
I said to the other day, just going to wrap you in bubble wrap. We're going to do a hand washing seminar. We're going to talk about licking train windows.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh
No,
my God.
I did recommend to her earlier today that she should just, bunker down for a couple of hours and have a nap and then, take a few shots of whiskey. And as it turns out, Imogen, you
That's
took that
what I
advice.
And Imogen's not sick.
So we're going to have a great show tonight. It's going to be
Imogen
solid.
is well rested and full of rum, not
That's
whiskey.
it. That is it. Cool. Well, anyway, we should make a move on because we've got some stuff to talk about tonight. Quite a bit of stuff, as it turns out. Yeah. Ollie, should we kick off with you tonight? Let's talk about the divisioning stuff that you have been cracking into.
I thought you were about to talk about Rocket League with the whole kickoff segue.
Oh,
Ruined it.
No, I've done
Ruined
that enough.
So disappointing.
Yeah. Hang on. No.
it is.
If you want to give an update on Rocket League, let me see if I can predict what it's going to be. Okay.
All right, go.
Played Rocket League this week. Sucked more than I thought I would, and then I sucked a lot less, and I'm still enjoying it and learning a whole bunch, and Rocket League is fucking cool. Done.
No, I was about to say I was really enjoying. I played the snow day mode for a while with friends of comparable skill and had a really good time.
Nice.
Yeah. And Luke,
So,
for one, to make fun of somebody who goes on and on about the same game, one would not to want to also be doing that.
Yes.
One thing I have
Stones, glass houses.
I have never, ever claimed
cuff.
to not be a hypocrite. Let's just get that out there right now.
That
Anyway.
doesn't make it okay. That's like saying, I know I'm a murderer, but I still do it. No, that doesn't make it acceptable.
Wow. Okay. That was dark. Anyway, I interrupted you, good sir. Please
Yes,
continue.
anyway, Division. I threw my pen in a fit of rage. Hopefully that my mic picked it up. Division update happened. So that's cool. Big patch, 4.7 gig. It was great. And lots of new stuff. So there's now supplier drops in the Dark Zone. There's better item drops from named mobs, which is great. They've made crafting a whole bunch harder, which is not so great, but I can understand why they did it.
Didn't they make a change that allows you to use your regular game currency instead of the Phoenix creds for remapping items or something? Though?
Yes. So for those of you that haven't played the game, there's essentially 3 tiers of currency. You have your normal one, your Dark Zone only credits, and then what's called Phoenix credits, and they're the highest ones. And to basically re-enchant or stuff around with the stats of your gear, you previously needed Phoenix credits for the high-end stuff. Now you just need the lower currency, which actually makes selling stuff worthwhile again.
Yeah, it's good. It actually gives a meaning to that currency later in the game too, which before it really didn't.
Exactly. As opposed to previously where it was completely irrelevant after a certain level. So I like that. What else was there? Oh, there's a new incursion, which we tried, and it kicked our asses, so we're going to go back and try it again.
Mm-hmm.
They've now got daily and weekly assignments, which are like little daily challenges and weekly challenges, which are quite cool, and they give you certain rewards depending what they are.
Is that the Operation ISAC stuff, or is that separate?
Yes.
Yep.
So, for example, there's a crafting one that I did, which was craft 3 items or break down 3 items. One of those. And I got a yellow division tech for it, which is a crafting item as a reward. Whereas I had to kill 10 people in the Dark Zone, and then I got some Dark Zone credits for that. So it was really nice.
Oh, so it's not just encouraging the run this mission kind of stuff. It's actually, engaging with the game a bit more in other areas.
Yeah, so the weekly one, for instance, which I've nearly gotten, which is nice, is you have to kill a certain amount of a faction in the Dark Zone, break down a certain amount of items, and complete a certain number of quests in that week.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a really big update that's really cool.
Nice.
And I'm a fan.
Sounds good. Nice. Right, well, what else besides the divisioning?
Oh, nothing actually. But I forgot there's also set gears now as well. Like gear sets, sorry.
Mm.
So that's kind of cool, which have set bonuses. So yay, division.
Have you got any of those yourself yet? Is there?
No. They're really expensive.
I did enjoy listening to all of you guys going on a nice little shopping excursion last night, though, over Mumble. We're discussing the price of scarves and different gloves.
It's a bit like that, yeah. Actually, I'm curious. Are these division sort of set items? Is it kind of visible what is available, or is this a lot of this hidden, yet to be data mined kind of stuff that's going to drop randomly for people?
As in the gear sets?
Yeah. Do people?
No, it's all like out there because you can buy the blueprints or the template to craft them.
Okay.
And you can pick them up at certain vendors. They're just really expensive. Or they drop at the end of the new incursion, which is a mini raid style thing.
Right. And are these currently looking like the best way to roll in the game, or are they just an option amongst many that are really good?
I'm not 100% sure because I haven't researched anything on it yet.
Right. Okay.
So
fair enough.
Time will tell.
Cool. All right. Mimo, what about you? What you been doing?
I've been doing some random stuff. So first and most notably, last night I played Heroes of the Storm. Yay! And it was really fun. I played with Simo and Ari, and we got back in there and went, right, we're going to play against the AI. We're going to make it like adept, so not super easy, but we know we should be able to beat it and sort of relearn how to play again. I do not know, this is overarching over all games at the moment, what is going on with my router, but my internet is throttled somehow, and it is not working how it should be. And with all of my video card issues, it's been super fun PC week. But we managed to get Heroes of the Storm, and we pulled out a win or 2 wins at Adept, and then went up to Veteran and worked really hard for a win in the I can't remember, the Cursed Hollow, the one where you have to get the tributes and you can curse the other team, and so that's my least favorite map. But it was good. It was good. I stuck with something I knew, had to get my notes out about builds. Most notably, my standard build, and I play Valor. For Valor, a lot of her core skills have changed since the last time I've played the game. So whilst I was expecting, repeating something or other, that's not an option anymore. They've changed it. It's not called Vampiric Attack. It's called Manticore's Assist or something else. So I had to sort of work out, oh gosh, these are all new. You sort of go on muscle memory for everything else, like this upgrade, this upgrade, this upgrade. But no, just to learn a lot of that again. I did see in the notes that they've taken Malfurion down. Not Malfurion. Kael'thas.
Yeah. Apparently there's some big issues affecting him in ranked and competitive play, so he's on ice currently. I don't know what the issues are, but that's a little sad to me because probably my favourite character.
I was going to say, when you said you were going to hop on yesterday and I saw the note, I was like, oh, that'd be a bit shitty if the only time you've played Heroes of the Storm and he's not there. But
well, if you guys were playing against AI, I think I would have been okay because it sounds like they haven't
I would have loved to play against actual people, but we just have to get 3 quick games in. So whip the Band-Aid off, get back into it. So that'll be fun. I feel like we might fit that in around some other stuff a bit more now the weather's starting to change and people are inside a lot more. I don't know. It was just fun and it was quick. I could fit in, half an hour of gaming, not too difficult. I played Hearthstone this week. What?
Please tell me all about it.
So it begins.
Well, I played one game. So I logged back in. Luke, you had messaged us in our WhatsApp group with the PAX guys about that the Tavern Brawl currently was really good, and I knew that it was going to be expiring earlier in the week, so I went on and did the Tavern Brawl with the portals, and it was lots of fun.
Yeah, the Portals one is one they've redone a few times now. I think it's maybe the third time it's been on, but yeah, that one's always a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah,
so it's just an unstable portal. So basically you start with portal cards and it just summons a random minion and it costs 3 less. So sometimes that means that you summon the portal and you get someone for free. And other times you get some real beasts that are available a lot earlier than they should be. So I kept sort of 3 portal cards in my hand and didn't use them on purpose, even not outlying, thinking towards the end of the game when I've got high mana, if I can throw a couple of those unstable portals out, I might get either something for free or something huge that I can throw down immediately. And it did. And unfortunately, because I was only had the time to play the one game, the person sort of conceded, which is, never much fun. I wanted to use the fun card, but that's all right. I still won, and I got my pack of cards, and I got a couple of rares. So
nice.
I don't know. I didn't sort of delve into the wild versus hipster mode, whatever else
Standard.
it's called now. Standard mode.
Hasn't gone live yet, so you're okay.
I liked Hearthstone before it was cool mode. So I don't know. It's a fun game. And the reason I played Hearthstone is because I had that many dramas trying to play Minecraft story mode this week. Oh my goodness. So I have Minecraft. I played it in the end. I've played episode 5 now. I completed it.
Cool.
So that was an achievement, but I have it on my iPad. And when I went to open it to say, well, I know I've purchased it, I just have to download episode 5 and I'll start playing. The last update for it never kind of went through, and it was just sitting as a waiting on my iPad. And I thought, well, that's a bit weird. So I restarted my iPad, same deal, went into the App Store and tried to open it via the App Store where you can just click on open, nothing. It would sort of think about it for a second and then go back to nothing. So I tried multiple times. I left my iPad for a couple of days, and that's why I ended up playing Hearthstone. I was like, well, I wanted to play something, so I'll just jump on Hearthstone. So I left it a couple of days, and in the end, I ended up having to delete Minecraft story mode. Unfortunately for me, I've never set up a Telltale account, so none of my decisions from my previous episodes were saved.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, I was going to say the beginning of episode 5, though, probably wouldn't have a massive impact from what you'd done previously.
No, it did say, we're just randomly generating decisions. So I was Jessie still. I was still the female character, so I don't know if that was random, and maybe I could have potentially been.
Well, I'm thinking maybe one of the things that would have been impacted is you actually, at the beginning of episode 5, you've got a distinctive set of armor that you would have gotten from the previous adventure.
And it was the one that I chose.
Oh, it was? Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
I know, because it was purple.
Convenient.
Yeah.
My favorite color. Yes. So I don't know if it randomly, I just ended up with the same person I would have chosen anyway. So that was pretty cool. But it was good. And it was nice to be sort of back in the world. And it was a really kind of just nice condensed story. Like I thought about halfway through it, I'm like, how is this going to get drawn out? But, until the very end. And yeah, we'll see. I guess I'll keep playing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I liked how the episode story was basically, this is what happens to a Minecraft world when Luke is on it.
Pretty much. For those of you who've played it, that's the stage that Luke gets to, where it just, creative powers take over and he just goes a bit nuts.
So I guess I'll just say this for Olly's benefit.
No spoilers.
Well, I will give a spoiler to anyone who doesn't want to know this. Turn away now. Jam's not here and she probably won't listen to it, so I think we're safe. Jam, if you listen to this, don't listen to this. Okay, cool.
Wow.
The key plot device, Olly, was that they're basically dealing with a chicken that lays spawn eggs. So the bad guys get hold of the spawn eggs.
The Eversource.
Yeah, they start sort of dropping ghasts and creepers and everything everywhere. Stuff gets messed up. So it's like, bringing all the stuff.
No ender dragons.
No ender dragons, but just about everything else. So, yeah. Basically, this is what happens. Yeah.
So, anyway, that was good fun. So, lots of random gaming and not at all games that I thought I would be playing this week. But, yeah, I still have to fit it around study and life. And, yeah, burning candles at more than both ends at this stage.
They only have 2 ends.
Oh, I don't know. I found a third one somewhere.
Cool. I'll talk about stuff now. Let's just change the
Sure,
subject.
why not?
Yeah. All right. So I'm not going to talk about Hearthstone because that's kind of the permanent fixture. Actually, no, I lie. I'll say one thing. Did you see the Cho'Gall card that I just chucked in our group chat earlier? So Cho'Gall being the double-headed ogre that made its way into Heroes of the Storm a few months back now is coming to Hearthstone. So that's pretty cool. It's a neat new card. It's a legendary warlock minion that's coming to the game. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Well, he's a Warcraft character, so of course.
He is, but I really didn't even know who he was until Heroes because I'd never actually encountered his Warcraft equivalent. So
that ability is interesting.
It's cool. So in Hearthstone, he basically allows you to cast your next spell without spending mana. You spend life instead, which is very in theme with the Warlock because that's how their hero power works anyway. You drop 2 health and draw a card. So
they need more ways to lose health.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing I'm noticing about a lot of the cards that they've previewed for this expansion is it looks like one of the clever things they've done is release a bunch of cards for each of the different hero classes that kind of doubles down on the theme of that class, which is really cool. So, that's a good example where, the whole using your life as currency is kind of the Warlock theme, and they've made that the thing for the legendary minion, which is neat. So, but yeah, anyway, so not huge amounts of Hearthstone this week. I'm kind of just waiting for the calm before the storm, which is, I think, 2 weeks away now. So I, unsurprisingly, have been playing a whole bunch of farming games and farming-like games. So bit more Minecraft. Haven't spent a huge amount of time in Minecraft this week, mostly because I was keen to jump in with my son, and we had some PC troubles on his end. So unfortunately spent a bit more of the time kind of sorting that out so he could jump on. But no, he's still doing good. But
How did he go with the PC trubs?
It was nothing that he did. It was mostly just Windows was trying to, because it was a laptop rebuild, it had to go through and churn through all the Windows updates again, like every single update that had been made available since that version of Windows became available.
Now
sort of thing.
He starts to learn the world of a PC gamer.
Oh, he does, yes. He's on top of it, though. Like, he's actually on top of it with his mother's iPad because he's frequently looking for updates that need to happen before he does his gaming. So he knows how to hop on the iTunes store himself and sort of prompt all the updates. So he's kind of onto it.
Dangerous.
Well, I kind of look at it as like, it's like how kids like to get involved doing those sorts of routine things. Like, when you get home from work and you pick the kids up and the first thing they want to do is run and check the mail. It's kind of that equivalent, I think. So anyway.
They do?
Yeah.
I did not know that was a child thing.
Mine do.
There you go.
Yeah. I just assumed it was a thing. Anyway. So yeah, Minecraft aside, I've been playing heaps of Stardew Valley. So I am really disappointed that Jam is sick because I kind of really wanted to talk about that with her tonight, but that can wait until probably next week. I'll give a very brief summary. So Stardew Valley, mentioned last week, I just started playing it, was pretty confident it was going to be good, and I was right. I'm probably about 35 hours deep at the moment.
In 1 week, that's impressive.
In 1 week? Yeah, exactly, yeah. And a big part of the reason for that is because it is one of those games where it's like just one more day. You keep clicking the progress sort of button because you want to just have another crack at the next thing that happens, and then the next thing that happens, it's only going to be another 5 minutes, let's just do the next thing. So each day in this game, the game's sort of broken into seasons. You do your 4 seasons, but the seasons aren't your full sort of typical seasons of 3 months, sort of for fall, for summer, for winter, and for spring. It's only 28 days. They split it evenly into sort of 4 weeks or 7 for each season. So you get through a full year a lot quicker. And in terms of the game progress, I've just finished my first year, and I'm just into the first spring of year 2, which means that I'm kind of going through and being able to do stuff now that I wasn't ready for before at the same time the previous year. So spring being a really optimum time to plant heaps of crops. Now I can actually afford to buy the crops and plant them instead of starting out in that time and having no money to do anything. So it's made it for quite a bit of a difference in terms of gameplay experience. But yeah, the game's really, really fun. There's so much to do. There's a ridiculous amount of things to do with the game. And the main thing that you sort of revolve a lot of your efforts around is there's kind of like a community centre in the middle of the town, which you set out to sort of repair because it's all dilapidated and run down. But in order to repair the community centre, you have to complete sort of mini quests in each of the different rooms of the centre, and they vary a lot. Like a lot of them are sort of gather quests. So you have to sort of earn or grow or forage for certain items and then bring them back to to the community centre, but there's a few other ones as well. And I am 2 areas out of 6 complete, so I've got quite a bit to do. So, yeah. But, yeah, really, really fun. We'll talk lots more about that later. Stardew Valley, highly recommend. And looks like Jam's sister, Kate, has picked it up as well, which is quite a thing because she's not typically
it's a big deal.
A big gamer.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It is a very accessible game, I think. I'm actually contemplating whether I want to introduce Ben to it or not, because it could be a Minecraft alternative, because God knows he needs to play more than one game. So we'll see if I can actually coax him around to doing that. But it's a very easygoing game too, and after a week of sort of Minecrafting and Stardew Valleying, I was really feeling the itch again to play something a little bit more high octane, a little bit more sort of, challenging and less passive. So I picked up a game that I've seen doing the rounds a bit in the last week, 'cause it's just released, called Enter the Gungeon. So it's kind of what it sounds like. It's basically a gun-based sort of dungeon crawl game. Best way to describe it is it's a roguelike sort of bullet hell shooter that's played top-down in a dungeon, and it's really interesting the way it works. It's a typical roguelike in that you will sort of progress through the map, and if you die, you start from the beginning, and all your progress is wiped, which is can be frustrating. But it also has all of the aspects of a dungeon crawler where you're sort of, moving from room to room, opening chests, getting loot, beating bosses, exploring a maze-like structure, all that kind of stuff. It is definitely a high sort of action shooter game, very, very fast moving, lots of gunfire. The bullet hell is in full force. Like, you have to move around the map quite nimbly to avoid the absolute storm of shots that are going across the map. The theme's really cool. So the characters involved in the game are very, I want to say chibi-like, like anime chibi-like, but that's probably not entirely accurate. It's kind of like, they're very comical characters that are... they're almost Adventure Time-like, I guess, in some aspects. The art style's very Adventure Time-esque, if that kind of makes sense.
I'd say that's chibi.
Yeah, it probably is. It's not your traditional chibi in that a lot of...
it's a tiny body with a giant head.
Yeah, it kind of... It's a very distinctive art style. I don't know how to describe it. You probably just look at it and understand what I'm talking about. But like a lot of the enemies are sort of, themed around the whole bullet hell thing. Like you're actually fighting against, bullets that walk around and have guns themselves, or, giant walking Gatling guns. One of the bosses that you fight is a crow that has like a minigun and backpack with ammo sort of loaded on it. There's a lot of fun stuff. I think that the maps are randomly generated because I've replayed the first level 3 times now and gotten a different boss at the end of it each time, which is cool. Which means that there's probably quite a bit more to explore even if I keep failing the level, because it'll keep changing up on me, which is fun. So a few mechanics that I really love in the game that you can actually... I started playing it with keyboard, and then I realised that was probably not a good idea for this one, and I switched to my Xbox One controller via my PC. Enjoying it a lot better with that because I think the twin sticks allow you much better freedom of movement with this game. And you can actually sort of, as you're moving around, there's like a drop and roll move you can do, which actually starts off with a leap. So you can actually use it to jump over chasms and gaps and things like that. And then it sort of finishes in a roll. So you can actually go under things. So if like there's a beam of laser or something shooting, you can actually roll under it at the end of that move, which is really cool. So if you time it right, it actually adds quite a bit of strategy to the game. And another thing that I love is a lot of the environment is interactive. So you can literally bust into a room, see a table sort of, a few squares in front of you, a huge hail of bullets starts flying at you, you run up to the table, you kick it over, you cower behind it and push it up so you're actually using it as mobile cover as you enter into the room. And, as soon as you get a chance, you drop it and shoot back and try and, get out of that situation. It's really sweet. So yeah, really enjoying the game. I guess the only thing that's not really working for me at the moment is the roguelike sort of, punishing aspects of the complete level wipe when you fail. I appreciate that that's kind of like a hallmark of the genre, and it's pretty common. But I've realised that my tastes are that I like that style of game in almost every aspect except for that. Like the reset kind of irks me a bit because I like to be able to see a bit of progress when I'm playing a game like that. And to compare it to, say, for example, Crypt of the Necrodancer, which was similar in that respect, where you sort of started over when you die. At least when you cleared each level, you sort of unlocked the next one, so you could jump straight into Area 2 or Area 3 if you liked. You sort of just jump in with nothing, which is not usually the best place to start from, because you kind of need some equipment to have a chance of surviving. But at least you could if you wanted to. But with this one, it's like literally just you back to square one.
And upgrades that you could do between levels, that sort of thing.
I've heard that there are stuff that you can unlock, and you do sort of have a journal which allows you to sort of keep track of things that you've encountered and sort of track information about it. But I think it actually does reset your progress completely. And the weapons are entirely randomized too. Like you go in with a basic kind of pea shooter pistol, which has infinite ammo, so it's always your fallback. Everything else you actually have like a limited amount of ammo for. So once you're out, you can find ammo refills or just switch guns. And there's a huge variety of different weapons, but that's kind of part of the issue too. Like they're really randomly generated, and you can run through a level one time and find just like a basic pistol upgrade, which isn't much better. Or you could run through the next time and find like an absolute massive, shots per second, machine gun. Last night when I was playing, I had like a water gun which emitted a constant stream, and it was like you basically just sprayed an entire room by moving around in circles, and this huge wisp of ammo just launched out of it and just annihilated stuff. So the difference in difficulty is considerable depending on how lucky you get with your weapon, essentially. So good game though, would recommend. I don't know how much legs it's got in terms of replayability. I think I'll probably get frustrated with it for too long, but it's one that I can sort of jump into every now and then. The art style's great. The soundtrack's excellent. The actual story, like the minimal amount of plot, is quite amusing. The sort of central MacGuffin, if you like, is that you're basically trying to find a gun that has the power to kill the past. So, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how that works exactly. Someone explain it to me, but it's funny. Yeah, but yeah, cool game. And it's new too, so, new shiny, yay, basically. And Jan, being a sick person, I think has probably been taking it fairly easy this week. I know she's jumped into a couple of things. She's been playing a stack of Stardew Valley. I think that she took the day off sick yesterday and probably played that for the majority of it, judging by the Steam hour tracker that I've looked at. She's doing pretty good. And we've got a couple of other friends playing that game too, so it's been fun to sort of keep on top of that.
Last Friday night, WhatsApp was going nuts with you guys talking about your trees, and you're all worried about autumn. And I was like, what is actually happening?
Can you make maybe a Stardew Valley chat for you guys?
Yeah, there is so many different game chats now.
We made it. Yeah, I know. There has been quite a few. Look, it's funny, actually. Like, after playing Enter the Gungeon, I thought that what I was really craving was something a bit more sort of action-packed and sort of, I guess, stress-inducing, which will lead into a part of our discussion later this evening. But I've realised that what I'm probably missing, and I think I've kind of been seeking this since I finished Metal Gear, is I haven't actually played a game with a really good narrative since Metal Gear, or even for a little while. So I think with what I've got on my plate at the moment, I'm just about ready to crack the seal on Witcher and fire that up.
About freaking time.
Yeah,
I know, right?
I think I'm just about ready for that, because if I don't do it now, then as soon as all of the craziness of May hits and we're overwatching and I'm Uncharteding and other thingsing, that's going to get lost.
All of the thingsing.
All of the thingsing. And hey, if I can crank out 35 hours worth of Stardew Valley in a week, then I'm sure I can finish Witcher 3 in under a month.
That's just nuts, Luke. I do not know where you find that time.
He doesn't sleep.
That's right.
My goodness.
That's how that works.
No, clearly not.
Well, Stardew Valley doesn't require a huge amount of attention, so I think you can kind of bumble your way through it to a certain extent. But, yeah.
I require a huge amount of sleep. So.
Cool. All right, well, Ollie, kick us off with some gaming news of the week. What's going on?
All right, so the Oculus Rift shipments have been, they done fucked up.
Yep.
They done goofed.
Yep. So they've had a bit of a kerfuffle with one of the components that's required for the Oculus Rift, and it's pushed back some shipments for quite a bit. Quite a bit. Like, normally you'd be like, maybe just a couple of days or whatever. No. This has been pushed back sometimes 2 months, 3 months now. Past the release date. And people are being vocally unhappy about it. And fair enough. I can understand that.
Well, they've paid sort of release date prices for this, and 3 months' time, goodness knows what other things will come out or other deals they might be offering. So, it's a big manufacturing headache.
Yeah, supply chain management is a thing, and it kind of shows with Oculus being probably not as well managed as it probably could have been, because it is still like, oh my god, it turns out we're really popular. We should probably get on that.
We're so surprised.
Yeah.
Well, it's business 101, really. I mean, when it comes to providing products to customers, part of the key part of the equation there is meeting expectations. And there's two ways to address that. You either meet the expectations or you readjust the expectations.
And these are the pre-orders, right? So it's not
these
like
are pre-order customers.
This is pre-order customers. So they knew volume, they knew everything else. So it has to have been some sort of failure, obviously in this small component, and it's just absolutely devastating.
Oh, it could be multiple things in the supply chain.
Product.
Yeah. And the thing is too, like, this is not people who were late in the process of making the pre-orders.
No, this is like minutes into it sort of thing.
Like we had, there was one case where Ollie, you mentioned that there were up to 2 to 3 month delays. Someone got a message saying that their shipment was going to be delayed by 2 months or more, and they had ordered within the first 12 minutes. And gotten their name on the the first block of units to be shipped. And a lot of the people who have actually been citing these issues, quite a few of them have been quite prominent media personalities or streamers or content creators that are going to be looking at these units to actually make their content and do reviews and that sort of stuff. And some of them have turned around now and not necessarily cancelled their orders, but sort of said...
Some have.
Well, yeah, some have. And others have turned around and said, well, I'm no longer going to cover this because what's the point of doing it 3 months after release? It's no longer news then. So, and fair enough.
They'll be into something else by then.
Yeah. So Oculus has waived the shipping cost for those delayed. Whoop-de-frickin' do. But here's the thing. Any new orders now, potentially 4 months delay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is just terminal for a new product release.
And not to mention that this is the product being purchased directly from Oculus. There's still no sign of when this may actually hit shelves in any sort of brick and mortar outlet anytime soon.
So Oculus, GG.
Yeah, GG guys. You had a good run for a couple of days, and
so it looks like 5 it is, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Or PlayStation. Yep.
VR.
Well, I don't have a PlayStation, Luke.
Well, I thought you were going to buy one, Ollie. You need to get on that.
I will eventually. Ease up.
You'll probably get in time for one of the PlayStation 4.5 packages with the Oculus stuff.
Look, I'll be honest. When that bundle comes out, I will probably just pick that up.
Yeah.
I'll probably just pick up the 4 when it's on sale.
Might be the best option. Yeah. Cool. But speaking of console exclusive stuff, did you see the first main trailer for Gears of War going up?
Yes, Gears of War 4.
So
looks
how much?
Very interesting.
You have you got experience with the previous Gears games, Ollie? You played them?
I have.
Yeah.
Which is odd because I don't actually own the console for it.
Yeah, well, I haven't yet, but I think I'm going to. I actually, when I got my Xbox One, it actually did come with, it was either Gears 3 or Gears Remastered. I can't remember which. I'd have to check. But I've not loaded it up and played it yet because, games. But yeah, I probably will. I've always had a sort of outsider's interest in the Gears of War series. It looks very fun. So
that's probably the best way I can describe it. They're not. I'm going to insult people here. I don't personally find them to be great games, but they are very fun games. That's the best way I can describe it.
They seem to be much more sort of sledgehammer shooters than, say, your Halos. Would that be
Yes.
fair?
Sledgehammer is a very good way to describe it, seeing as you're moving a literal mountain of muscle man. But yeah, the trailer itself is a very somber tone with The Sound of Silence by Disturbed. And yeah, one of the main writers for the Gears of War series was particularly happy with it. So yeah, looks good.
Nice.
It's a bit of a time jump forward because it shows what presumably is the son of the main character of the series, all grown up. And there's a flashback to him being a little one.
It's Marcus Phoenix, is that his name?
That'll be interesting.
Cool. All right. We also had the BAFTAs during the week as well, which are the... now, correct me if I'm right, this is the British Academy... something.
Nearly had it. You nearly had it.
The British Actors Film and Television Awards.
There you go.
This is their BAFTA Game Award, so it's separate from their, obviously, the film and television arm of it.
The BAFTAs.
BAFTAs, yeah. But this is, just something that happens in the gaming world is we don't tend to have, one season where it all happens, whereas the actual BAFTAs and Oscars and Golden Globes all tend to happen sort of lumped together in the year for games that was going to happen throughout. So just like to keep track of who wins what throughout the year, and the BAFTA for Best Game went to Fallout 4. Which is interesting, which, in other Game of the Year awards has missed out to The Witcher and to Metal Gear, I think, in some other ones. So So interesting that it should come up trumps there after, it's been around for quite a while now. It came out just before award season.
Probably because it shows America being exploded.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
Yeah.
it may have something more to do with the fact that if they're judging the entire game on its merits, including subsequent releases and DLC packs and that sort of thing, maybe it's incorporated some of the recent add-ons that it's had.
Yeah,
Could be true, yeah.
That's fair.
Funnily enough, I mean, the game, the awards also have, because it is British, Game Awards, they also have a Best British Game, and that actually went to Arkham Knight, which, it just kind of dropped off in some other awards as well. There were some other really notable achievements, one of which is a game that I had not heard of until today, which was Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Oh, yes.
Which is a apocalyptic exploration game, which sounds, very Fallout 4-esque.
It's trying to be clever than it actually is walking simulator. So.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
it won award
Wow,
for.
tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I know. Scathing shots fired.
Yeah, I've
won-
played a bit. I was not a huge fan.
Yeah, it won
The
best
music was good.
Yeah, and game music is something that previously I wasn't that interested in, and Ollie's sort of sparking my interest in quite a lot of different things. And so I'm going to have, it was Jessica Curry who was responsible for this one, and she made a very good speech apparently, which everyone can Google and have a look at. I thought it was quite funny. But it won 3 awards on the night for music, audio achievement. I've got to find the other one. I can't find what the other one was. Maybe it only won the 2.
Just 2.
Yeah, the other sort of big note titles were Her Story, which we played before, and Ori and the Blind Forest, which I will continue to be.
You're forgetting a big one called Rocket League.
Oh, Rocket League, yeah.
That won
So
3.
I guess the big news overall is, great Fallout 4 won the award, but there is a dominance by independent gaming studios in that list, and that's something that we've seen in all of the awards to date, which is nice. And it's going to be one of those things: is when does indie stop being indie and start being just how everybody makes games now?
Yeah, it's a grey line these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, essentially do you have a giant studio?
Yeah.
No? You're an indie developer.
Well, the funny thing is too, like some of these indie studios that are still relatively small, comparatively to some of the bigger outfits, entering into these funding deals with large entities like, a great example would be Ori and the Blind Forest, because they actually were aligned with Microsoft, I believe, to actually get their game to market.
Yeah.
And there was another example, I think League of Geeks, the company behind Armello, teamed up with Sony Entertainment, I believe, to actually get their stuff out. Or maybe I'm confusing that with Rocket League. One of the two had some assistance. I can't remember which. So, yeah, I'll just say that I'm right and not fact check it all. Someone can correct me later.
The internet will be
Spurious
very
facts
angry
by
with you.
Luke.
That's it. Yeah. No,
It's a Luke fact, everyone. It's a Luke
thing.
fact. Yeah.
I'll correct
So
myself.
yeah, no, really, really interesting, and it's one of those things. Indie developers are the hipsters of the game world, and maybe it's becoming too mainstream to be indie now, and it's going to be like, oh, have you heard about that new game from Bethesda? Oh, they're so small, so nuanced. But yeah, so more awards, and we'll see more towards the end of the year, and we'll keep an eye on that. But good on Fallout 4, and I'm always happy to see games like Her Story and Rocket League get nods as well.
Sweet.
Even though Rocket League is now gigantic.
Yeah.
A little disappointed
Speaking
that Stephanie Jewston didn't take out the music award again for her work on Quiet's theme from Metal Gear. That's spectacular. I don't know if you've heard that theme at all.
I
She's
have
really good.
no interest in that game. You maybe not want to listen to anything to do with that game anymore.
You can just look it up. Sorry. Anyway, I interrupted your segue.
That's all right. You tripped over my segue. That's fine. Speaking of large gaming studios, we have a beta war, ladies and gentlemen.
It's really not a war, is it? Let's be honest.
Well, it kind of feels it, to be honest. So
Does it?
I'll explain myself. So at the moment, we have 3, maybe arguably 4 big titles, very similar games in that they're going to be team multiplayer cooperative type shooting games in Overwatch, Battleborn, and Doom, and I'm forgetting what the 4th one is. Basically, Overwatch, Blizzard announced today that there would be, yesterday that there would be a PC beta this weekend.
Yep. Still a closed beta. You still need to register for it and be selected. Yep.
Correct. The interesting thing is that they tag this as a server stress test, and we've had this discussion on the podcast before, and I will repeat it for those of you who don't listen religiously, and that's okay, I forgive you, is that is kind of like just a line that I feel like a lot of studios use, because there is no way that you can really accurately... The servers are going to struggle. It's going to be a bit of a shit fight. It's going to happen regardless if, Bethesda and those guys Bungie can't get it right, then, one weekend of testing isn't going to fix anything necessarily. It might make it a bit better.
If I was to bank on one company having a large amount of experience with millions upon millions upon millions of gamers sort of stressing out their servers, I'd say that Blizzard has a fair bit of credit in this area. So,
no, I agree, but having a closed beta is not going to replicate that. No. You need to have an open beta to replicate that.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. The issue that I usually have with betas and server stress tests is that companies announce that they're doing a beta, and what they're actually really doing is doing a server test, and they're not really transparent about it. I like the fact that Blizzard have been very open about that being the key purpose of this one.
I think it's just because Blizzard is Bay in your regard, so you're seeing everything through rose-coloured glasses.
You can talk.
Anyway,
yeah.
Well, no, I see it for what it is. That they're what it is. I believe this is my conspiracy theory. Is Battleborn is let's call it Borderlands Overwatch is effectively what it's being tagged as. Right. Their Xbox and PC open beta starts this weekend, so you can pre-download ahead of their late April release date, which is really interesting because these sort of three games, being Doom, Overwatch, and Battleborn, are all going to be released end of April, beginning of May. And so we've discussed before that Doom launches early May, and coincidentally, you can pre-order Overwatch and either get in on the weekend that Doom opens or the weekend afterwards, just to try it for free. So it seems to me like all of these guys are thinking about their audience, and they're worried that they don't want their audience to dip into these games and then pop out 3 months after their release and then try Overwatch. They want them in Overwatch on day dot. So it feels very much so like they're trying to maintain presence, they're trying to remain relevant, and so I'm going to deem it the beta war.
Fair enough.
It's very important. I mean, people are, limited for time, especially when you're going to invest time. And these are skill games where you set up with groups and you spend time and you go in and you learn and you strategize and everything else. And you're not going to jump necessarily between these three very readily. So they're fighting for audience. I would argue that Doom and Overwatch fans would be very similar. Doom had the Day of Doom, which was where they got a bunch of gaming YouTube celebrities, obviously paired with YouTube gaming, and some real-life athletes like Thierry Henry to play Doom. They paired them all up. There was iJustine and Michael from Achievement Hunter and some other guys who I'm forgetting, my apologies. So they're all really just dancing in the spotlight, and they're only getting our attention for very small periods of time, and see who wins come June. Who knows?
Interesting. Did you see that? What's that?
Oh, Battleborn. I feel sorry for Battleborn. Yeah, Battleborn's going to lose.
Well, the thing is, Battleborn actually looks like a decent game. I think
it will.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff I've been seeing on it, I'm intrigued. I may actually try that one out. Unfortunately, on the other hand, a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing from early beta testers of Doom has not filled me with a lot of confidence. You should
watch the Day of Doom stuff. It looks just nuts.
I'll check it out. The big thing that seems to be the overarching sort of narrative that's coming from a lot of the Doom beta tests is that they have made it feel distinctly un-Doom-like with the way a lot of the shooting mechanics work, particularly to the point that a lot of the weapons are so overpowered that they're almost all one-shot kills, which takes a bit of the strategy out of it. It just becomes like a carnage fest, which I think is kind of, it is Doom, but I just don't know if that is what the first-person shooter audience wants these days. I think they probably want a little bit more cat and mouse.
Not, and it's not, headshot, whatever else. From what I saw, it's just carnage. It's if you're not moving, shooting, or dying, then you're not in the game.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's what Doom is, and they've just basically taking it back. From what I've seen, it's very manic. It'll be a short play game that you'll play for fun and everything else. It's no Call of Duty.
No.
It's just fun. It's just Yeah,
Games like this and Serious Sam have always and will always have an audience. Like, yes,
Correct.
it's good to have realistic shooters and all that sort of thing, but you need your dumb fun shooters in there, and this is going to be
Doom
it
is
for this
so
year.
dumb. It's just stupid. Both of you need to watch the Day of Doom stuff. It was hilarious watching professional. They had. Oh, you did? Good job. So they had some guys from the NFL in there. They had obviously pro soccer players. Football players, because if Thierry Henry got accused of playing soccer, I'd be shot. And some other guys who I cannot remember their names, but it was just absolutely hilarious watching the actual gamers. Sort of, some of them were coaching and having fun, and others of them were actually genuinely very good at the game, which was just really lots and lots of fun. There's lots of little highlight reels in there as well, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing, which I didn't, I watched a lot of highlight stuff and behind the scenes stuff. It was good. It was really good.
Sweet. Yeah.
Highlight is
I'm
watching.
a buy Doom.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah,
that.
I just think-
I'm a buy it. Yeah.
You can buy everything. I just
I'm
think
a
it's
buy it,
really
yeah.
weird that it's all happening. It's a fairly distinctive
It's all
genre,
happening,
and it's all
guys.
happening at once. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just going to be one of those ones we need to turn down the volume of mumble because everyone's going to be yelling at each other. It's a good thing we've got different channels.
You realise Doom is completely different to the other two, right? They're not in
Yeah.
the same genre.
No, I do
Just-
know, but it's just they're being released at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're
Just clarifying.
yeah,
I think it's more in terms of the audience is similar enough.
correct.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. One's team-based, the other one is I run around shooting people
Yeah.
by myself, doing whatever the hell I want.
I understand that, but I think a lot of people
You
who
can
are
be
into
in teams.
shooters will be into both of those options. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm just concerned about how much time I've got to allocate to both, but we'll see. I seem to
Yeah.
be able to find time out of nowhere these
Yeah, I'm
days.
definitely less interested in Overwatch than I am Doom.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I think
Poor Battleborn.
amongst
Yeah,
all
I didn't
of
even
us.
put it this way. I'd never even heard of Battleborn until today.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah,
There's
no,
too
it's,
many battle cries, battle line, Battleborn,
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. There's too many B
Use
alliterations.
words other than battle and born.
Yeah.
Jesus. Come on, games.
So
what
true.
are you doing?
Yeah, and blood. Yeah, so that was interesting. Speaking of Blizzard, oh my goodness, we talk about this a lot. Sorry, Ollie. Today, yesterday, actually, technically saw the shutdown of the last and largest World of Warcraft fan server, which has been running for just under 12 years. So Nostalrius, and I've never had to say that out loud.
good pronunciation. Good job.
Thank you. Thanks. It was shut down with, I think they said that 800,000 people registered and 150,000 odd active players. It's basically, for those of you who don't know, so World of Warcraft, obviously MMO, massively multiplayer, it's usually Blizzard played on Blizzard servers. Nostalrius is a server that is privately run. It runs a game of World of Warcraft before any of the expansions, so before Burning Crusade. So it's what you would call vanilla or classic World of Warcraft. It doesn't sort of, and so a lot of sort of hardcore sort of raiders and things are in there. And they had a big send off just before the actual servers were shut down. Blizzard have sort of notified them that we're going to shut it down. It's time and those types of things. And so they had, I think it was 85,000 people or so online. And there's some videos online of all of them sort of in their respective Horde and Alliance hometowns. And it's just nuts to see so many people and some of, the older sort of skins of the characters and all that kind of stuff. So a sad day. A big day for World of Warcraft because, there's a lot of people who are still petitioning them to bring it back. And
A predictable day, though. I mean, it's not surprising to
they
understand
can't
why
keep
Blizzard would
supporting
want
it,
this
yeah.
to... Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
and
sad, but I agree.
Yeah.
it is sad. It's sad because, 800,000 people registered to that server and 150,000 active accounts on that server. That is absolutely nuts in terms of number of people.
That's a
but
lot of
not in
people
regards
violating Blizzard's terms of service.
Correct, but knowledgeably. I mean, they gave them notice that they were going to shut it down and those types of things. So it's just one of those things that it's part of the community that's always kind of been nice. Like Blizzard always knew they were there, but they kind of let it slide. And, they worked with them a little bit and they've had conversations with them. And I know they've tried to shut it down before because they shut down a whole bunch of them before the 10-year anniversary, I believe. anticipating the influx of other people. But yeah, so sad day for all of the old school World of Warcraft fans, but had to happen. But really nice to see the videos that have come out of it with the masses of communities and so many nerds in one place. Oh my goodness. And when you're talking about World of Warcraft nerds, people, these are the World of Warcraft nerds. The ones who have their own fan server where they play vanilla Minecraft just for funsies.
Warcraft.
Yeah.
Warcraft.
Minecraft.
Yep, in the world of Warcraft.
In the world, yeah.
It's
still the
One
world
video
of.
there I do like had Andre Bocelli
Yeah.
Say
I saw
Goodbye, an
that one,
acoustic version. I'm like, oh, that's actually quite touching.
Yeah, I know. It started and they were all running down the path. I was like, oh, feels.
Them feels.
Them feels.
Now,
I remember
I
running
never
down
actually
that path.
played during Vanilla WoW days, so I actually got into the game around the
never
time
even played.
of Cataclysm. Yeah, I know Ollie's never played. Imogen, you were in there from the beginning, though, weren't you?
No, hell no.
Oh, really?
I jumped in just at Burning Crusade.
Oh, okay.
So on the release of Burning Crusade, yep.
Interesting. Yeah,
So I never played
I'm looking at the way the
vanilla Minecraft.
game's changed in those years, and the early
World of
version
Warcraft,
of WoW
not
was
Minecraft.
not a kind one. It's,
No.
Yeah.
The PvP stuff was brutal, and even Burning Crusade, you got no chance. And the reason the early sort of expansions of WoW were never very good at that is because they were learning that, people are dicks. So they had to create mechanics to stop people just spawn camping. Anyway, so sad days. So for those of you who play World of Warcraft or are fans of World of Warcraft, I recommend you looking up Nostalrius shutdown videos. It's very, very nostalgic.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Blizzard-wise.
All right, well,
It's all for Blizzard.
speaking of old things and shaking off some rust, that segue was shit. All right, anyway.
That was the worst.
That was
You are
pretty
not
bad.
on form today, Luke.
Rust. I'm a little rusty. There.
Hey.
That was slightly better. All right, Rust is a game, and some people know about this game. It's a very brutal sort of wilderness survival MMO. Never played it myself. Don't know a huge amount from first-hand experience. Ollie, have you ever played
Pretty
Rust?
fun. I've played a little bit of it, yeah.
Yep. So one of the key things about Rust is that when you enter the game, correct me if I'm wrong, you basically, you're in your birthday suit. You start off with virtually nothing. And a little while ago, the company behind Rust sort of made the choice to, start randomly determining a lot of your starting characteristics, including skin color and sort of, general appearance and that kind of stuff. There's been a bit of controversy in the last week or so because they are making another change in that the gender that is assigned to you when you start playing the game is also going to be randomly assigned to you mandatorily, which means that dudes can, basically come in as dudettes and have nothing they can do about it because it's linked to your Steam ID and will never change. So
you link to your Steam ID in that in your Steam ID you've chosen male or female, or your name sounds female?
I believe it's your ID number. Your randomly sort of correlates with a database that dictates what gender you are going to be as long as you're
So
playing.
it's not they don't look at my profile and because I've said I'm a female on Steam, it makes me female.
No, and that's part of where the controversy is stemming from because I think a lot of guys are probably not happy with the fact that they're not going to be able to play this game as anything other than a woman.
Are they worried that once they grow their lives and build an economy, they're going to get paid 20% less?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Come on, people.
Maybe they're concerned about their running speed because they're going to have built-in windbreakers. I don't know. It could be any number of reasons.
Wow.
So, yeah.
If you don't like it, don't play the game.
Exactly. Exactly. The thing I love about it is that the Rust company have basically turned around and said, well, it's no different to the mandatory assignment of gender that you have in real life. It's just like, well, it's not 100% true, really.
Way
anyway.
to bring up a hot topic.
Yeah.
Once again,
dear.
Luke, spurious stuff.
It's awesome.
Going for the
Yeah.
controversy today.
I did want to ask you both, though, sort of, not so much aligned to the controversy, but more just, on the topic of gender and your character selection when you're playing games. How often do you actually play a character in games when you have a choice between the two that is not aligned with your own gender? Is that something that you think about actively? Do you choose randomly, or do you pretty much always just pick, what you are?
I usually go for more of what I am and then occasionally differ it up. But I can understand why if you're in a third-person game and you're basically going to be watching your character's butt the whole time, it's fair enough to have an attractive butt that you want to look at the whole time. I can understand that. But yeah, doesn't bother me particularly.
So what about you, Imogen? Do you want an attractive butt to look at all the time?
Yeah, but that's a female butt. So, no, I almost always play female characters. And it's only because I really only play games where you're sort of like Fallout 4, where you're playing like as a person. So I kind of like to it's easier for me to visualize like as with a female voice.
Yeah.
Like I chose the female Jessie in Minecraft.
Yeah. So the immersion is more complete for you when you have something that's appropriate to your experience. Sort of thing.
I do have one World of Warcraft character that's male, but it just bothers me, the voice. I don't know. It's interesting you asked that, though.
Well, it's funny that you
Did
just
not think
mentioned...
that's what you were going to ask.
No. Well, it's funny that you just mentioned what you did, because my choice is almost always dictated by voice. So if I know that a game has great voice acting for the female character part, I'll go the female. If I know that the male voice acting is better, I'll generally play the male. I mean, male's probably my default, but I will switch if I feel that the experience will be improved by the voice acting. It just seems to be something that always triggers that choice for me. Really good example.
The butt?
No, it's not the butt. Really good example for me was actually the Mass Effect trilogy. So I played FemShep the whole way through because I thought the voice actress for Mass Effect was just far superior to the male one. So, yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, and now because of my experience through that game, I think when the new Mass Effect comes out, I will not be able to play a male character because I'm just so used to playing a female one in it. So yeah.
The only exposure I have to the game of Rust is there's a YouTube video out there of a guy and he's like, I know how to play Rust, and I came on and like pretended I don't know how to play, and he just trolls this guy. It's like a 30-minute video where he's trying to like help him out and give him stuff, and he keeps like shooting this other guy and killing people, and this person who thinks he's new is so patient with him, and it's just hilarious. But that's my only exposure to the game. It looks rubbish, but
yeah,
I don't know. Obviously has a big enough following to cause controversy over.
I think so. It's been out for a couple of years now, I believe, coming up on around that amount of time. So yeah.
Is it free by any chance?
I think it is. Ollie might correct me on that. Mm-hmm. Yep, it is. All right, cool. Don't tend to see a lot of stuff in the news about Rust, but something like this has gotten a fair bit of attention. So yeah, just an interesting topic. Anyway, speaking of interesting topics, let's move into
Speaking of getting a little bit worked up.
Yeah. Well, you can get worked up on introducing this one. Far away.
I can. So this week's topic I have taken the reins of. As Luke mentioned, we were going to have a chat about Stardew Valley, but Jam has played an awful lot of that, so we will wait for her to return before we discuss that. But I wanted to talk about gaming for calm. So come with me, if you will. So we've talked about, I mentioned a whole bunch of the podcast.
I'm closing
all
my
of us
eyes
have
right
a lot
now.
going on. I have a lot going on at the moment, and we had a bit of a chat when we were playing Minecraft that it really is just very zen. And so I had this thought about that I actually do play games quite a lot just to de-stress, to chill out. And so I thought maybe we would have a bit of chat about that, and maybe it would resonate with some people as we have a chat. So firstly, do you think, Luke and Ollie, that you play games for timeout or to relax at all?
Ollie, you can go first.
Timeout
Sure.
or relax, different things, obviously.
Yeah, I will definitely do it more for a time. I guess more of a time. What do you mean by timeout?
Yeah, so it's got a lot going on. It's a busy day. You just want to sit down and do something else, almost like an escape.
How is that different from relaxing?
Because you can escape and play something where you blow stuff up and not relax, just get energized by it.
Okay, in that case, with those definitions, I will play games mostly to relax.
Okay.
Which is really wrong as well, but I play games for fun. I'm one of those annoying people that don't really get stressed and bothered about things. So I just go, cool, this game is fun. I want to play it
Refer
now.
back to episodes previous, audience, to Ollie not getting stressed out or angry about things.
No, an opinion isn't angry unless it's an angry opinion.
Yes.
So,
Like
but no,
Jimmy's.
I guess I don't need to relax a lot as much as other people might do, which is going to annoy the shit out of people, but that's fine.
No, that's fine. I'm happy for you.
Exactly. Look at me with my
Why would I
well-adjusted
ever
brain
be upset
chemistry.
that you get to go through life de-stressed? Good for you, Ollie.
I know, it's wonderful. I'm on holidays now as well at the moment.
Yeah,
it's great.
exactly. You got 2 weeks of solid holidays. It's all butterflies for you.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
All good.
But no,
I'm so happy for you, Ollie.
none of those definitions really hit the button for why I play games. So, unfortunately.
Well, what would you say is the reason you play games then, if you were to define it, and maybe we can interpret how that
They're
relates?
fun.
He said for
They're
fun.
the same reason I read a book or watch a TV show, entertainment.
But is there a line which you sort of draw when it comes to why would you choose a book or a TV show over a game in terms of the kind of activity? Like you find one more stressful
Generally
than
the
others?
time commitment.
Okay, right.
If I have a lot of time, I'll go for a movie or a game. If I have a little bit of time, I'll go for the book, because books you can pick up and put down nice and easily, whereas some games or movies, you don't want to pause a movie half an hour in and then go off, do something, and come back. And likewise with a game, I don't want to go, here's 20 minutes, or depending on the game, obviously, I should say. Games like Rocket League are great for it. Games like The Division, not so much. So, yeah, for me, it's just what I have time for at that point, and then just rotating through.
That's fair.
How about
I'm
you,
weird.
Luke?
I'm sorry.
It's not weird. We're happy for you.
Stop being so calm.
Yeah.
I hate the calm. I can't stand it.
I'll say that I actually very rarely play games to chill out, which you might find sounds strange, but the reason for that is really twofold. Firstly, because I actually very rarely get stressed. Very, very rarely. I'm usually a pretty zen guy. And I've, over many, many years taught myself basically to give zero shits about a lot of things in life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think because our jobs both kind of require us not really to give shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I think that's what it is.
I think, in fact, I think you and I are almost on the exact same page when it comes to this. So, yeah. I mean, for me, it's all about compartmentalizing things that happen during your daily life. I mean, when stuff happens, you can generally put it into one of two neat categories. One is stuff that you have control over, and one is stuff that you don't have any control over. And my method of dealing with that is, if you've got control over something that's causing you discomfort or is not working with you, if you have control over it, you can do something about it and fix the problem. If you don't have any control over it, then don't waste your energy trying to worry about it, because nothing you worry
Pretty
about is
much.
going to do anything. So
That.
But sometimes a method of control is to do an activity or to do something to take your mind off the immediate panic of it.
I guess that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Diminished.
I'm really good at taking my mind off it straight away without assistance. So, yeah.
Again, so happy for you.
Oh, look, don't get me wrong. It does have its downsides, because it means that, I'm often a little too zen about things that I possibly should spend more time worrying about. And, it can cause friction with others when they sort of like, how can you be so cool about this? This is really, really bad. And I'm just like, whatever. Particularly my wife. But the other reason is because when it comes to sort of, me in general, and this is a massive contributor to my sleeping pattern, in that, is a pretty minimal one, and I don't tend to sleep a lot, is at the end of the day, I'm a massive stimulation junkie, I am at my happiest when I am basically being worked up during a leisure activity. So I tend to play games for stimulation more than anything. I enjoy games that make me think, make me react, make me pay attention, make me wake up, that almost do the exact opposite of sort of calming me down. And this is why I don't tend to drink a lot either, because I don't like, I prefer being lucid, and gaming kind of does that for me. So
Yeah, well, see, I guess, what we're talking about now is lots of different ways of stress and sort of dealing with things generally in life. And I guess the difference is that for me, like what you're describing as being energized or whatever, that is my stress out. So I am sitting here and I am studying content which is not interesting. It is the very definition of me being angry at myself in my high school years for thinking I'd never need things, and then suddenly realizing now at 31 years old that yes, I needed those things. Why wasn't I paying attention? And so jumping online and playing games, that part, it's making me, some of the games that I play are making me think, and like Heroes of the Storm was fun. You wouldn't definitely say it's not a relaxing game, but it's making me think about different things. It's making me think in different ways. It's a little bit of, reinvigorating sort of your imagination and your analysis part of your brain, which is really sometimes what I need to unlock, so I don't just get stuck in a sort of boring, yawny loop of reading chapter after chapter about boring business crap. And also to zen out. So sometimes if we're just playing a game like Minecraft, which is the one I'll keep going back to, you are just, you're on there, and I guess the benefit for us is that we're also with people. So it's sort of you jump online, you have a bit of a chat, you go and do things. It's all very relaxed and everything else, and you have a bit of fun. So it doesn't always need to be zen and quiet time in terms of de-stressing. It's about turning to games for timeout's probably the wrong word for it, but just something different. Relaxation.
To escape.
So gaming for calm. So when you finish, I feel like I've achieved something. My brain's awake again potentially, and I can go and spend a couple more hours studying and whatever else. Which is why I've been slotting in these sort of small hour chunks of gaming in between all of my other stuff. So I'm very happy, and I would say that I'm fairly good at dealing with stress, but gaming is a big part of, I can't sit and watch TV and after I finish reading, because for me that's just more brainless stuff. I could read, but because I'm already reading volumes and volumes of text, sitting down and reading a book, even if it's a book I really enjoy, is still quite an onerous task and not quite different enough. And so I use games as a different way of using my brain, and it just chills me out no end.
It's funny actually.
Common theme though is that games are escapism.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Whether it's escapism for stimulation, escapism for relaxation or distraction, that is their underlying current.
I think the stimulation's all relative too. I mean, I do say that I like to game to be stimulated, but there are certainly times where I feel the need to be less stimulated than others. Like if I am trying to, manage low energy levels and, kind of transition myself to a point where I can eventually at some point go to sleep. I don't want to be too worked up and things like that. So I think that there are definitely games that I'll play and choices that I'll make in terms of what I'm engaging with that are less, stimulating than others. So I can certainly talk about it in terms of which games I will choose for more of a calming effect over others. And, it's interesting you mentioned books too. Part of the reason why I actually don't read a huge amount at nighttime anymore is because, and why I prefer to game is because reading actually is probably one of the most calming things that I can do. It sends me to sleep so fast. And I often just don't want to do that. Like, I love reading, don't get me wrong.
Luke is afraid of sleep.
But
he is afraid of sleep.
Sleeping.
What's waiting for you in the dark, Luke?
The narcophobic. That's the right word.
It's just probably under my bed, in my closet.
Waiting
my
for you in your dreams. Yeah. So what type of games would you say are best for you in that circumstance then, Luke? So tonight, later on, you're trying to chill out. What games would you avoid and what games would you play?
All right. So if I'm trying to chill out, probably high on the list in terms of what I'd avoid. Number one would be multiplayer games. So when I'm actually playing with other human beings, I tend to need to be much more switched on and paying attention to what's going on. Whereas if I'm just playing solo, I can kind of zone out a little bit, and there's
no one giving you shit.
Yeah, there's no one giving me shit. There's not that pressure to communicate either with other living, breathing people. So communicating while playing.
That's so hard.
Communicating while playing is an additional layer of effort. It is.
Remember, Imogen, focusing.
Yeah, that's right.
Focusing.
I apologize.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is an in-joke. So for those who are not on the in, Luke quite often in GTA
I tell a lot of bad jokes when I'm gaming.
Drive or fly vehicles whilst talking or breathing. So every now and again we'll just hear really deep breathing noises and he just goes, focusing.
No. The way all this started is that, I have a habit of when I'm gaming of doing the same crap I do whenever I'm doing anything else, particularly podcasting, which is I tell a lot of really bad jokes. Tend to layer on the puns pretty thick and have a great time doing it. Olly, of course, is not a huge fan of this, and he eventually figured out what my Achilles heel was, and that's when I'm actually playing games that require some modicum of attention to guarantee a layer of success. So if I actually have to pay attention to what I'm doing and I don't have time to think about crap like that, then he pretty much has the best time ever playing with me because he doesn't have to put up with it. So
it's wonderful.
Yeah. Whenever we hear that the heavy breathing is because Luke's doing something technical and he can't talk.
It's either really technical gaming or VR porn, one of the two. So, yeah.
Gross.
Not yet, it's not.
No, that's true.
No.
That's true.
Gotta wait 2 or 3 months.
No.
Oh, damn that.
Not putting my Oculus in any rifts anytime soon. No, the other stuff that I consider is usually the controls that I'm using play a fairly big part too. Like I find using gamepads to be a lot more relaxing than playing on the keyboard, just because of the way that I sort of sit and my posture leaning forward as opposed to leaning back. And I think that Jamie's the same way too, because she has a big comfy chair that she likes to settle into with a gamepad instead of sort of leaning forward on the keyboard. So I find games that allow me to sort of settle back and even just play with just the mouse to be a lot more relaxing. I mean, obviously Hearthstone's a pretty good example of that, because you can play the entire game with just your mouse. You don't need to use the keyboard at all.
Just use your iPad.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can use your iPad. Using the mouse is a lot less intensive than using the iPad. I find. What? Yeah. I find that because
tapping a screen, man, it's intense.
Well, it's more about the posture.
Intense.
I mean, with the iPad, you kind of. I usually cradle it in my lap, and this way I don't even have to hold anything. So. Man,
I am lying down. I am supine.
Really? I cannot play games lying down. I can't watch TV lying down either. There's something about it that just makes me really uncomfortable. But I don't know. It's just me. So yeah, and games that like.
What about upside down? Are you actually a vampire?
No, I don't do that.
He's not a bat.
He could be. You
Blood
don't know.
to my head. That would never work. That'd be terrible. Games that have a really heavy narrative element, I don't find as relaxing. Like ones that are sort of cheap popcorn entertainment in terms of story, I find quite easy. But games where there's actually a story that you have to pay attention to, and if you miss any of the key beats, then you kind of miss a lot of the links and the point. I find that a lot more focus intensive than cheap entertainment, if you like. Yeah, I think that's probably the key things. So multiplayer, I'd steer away from when I want to be really, truly relaxed. Intensive story, I'd try to steer away from something that's a little lighter. Heavy decision making, I guess, is another one too. Like particularly creative games. Now you've mentioned Minecraft a couple of times, and I find that interesting because I actually find Minecraft to be one of the games that I don't find as relaxing, because I'm usually really stimulated creatively when I'm playing it, because I'm usually building something.
Trying to figure out ways to blow up Jamie. Yeah.
No. That's probably when I'm the least stressed when I'm playing it, because that stuff's second nature to me by now. Come on.
So, what would you give us an example then of a relaxing game for you then?
Okay, well, I said Hearthstone before, and I guess Hearthstone's the outlier because, it is a game that requires quite a bit of mental concentration when you don't want to do well at it. But I guess it's part and parcel with my experience with the game, because I've played thousands and thousands of games of Hearthstone now, and whilst there's still a lot of room for me to move in terms of my ability at the game, I'm at that comfortable position where I know what the obvious sort of plays are at any given time, so I can kind of autopilot a lot of it. If I don't do that, I'll probably become a better player. But the fact is, I can do it and still do reasonably well. Right.
So ignoring the background radiation that is Hearthstone, what else would there be?
Okay. I think Firewatch was probably a good example recently of a game that I found quite relaxing.
Despite it having a heavy narrative and choice making?
The narrative wasn't that heavy. It was fairly light.
It was the whole point of the game.
It was, but it wasn't like if you missed something, you missed a giant chunk that sort of was critical to the story. I mean, I think that it was light enough that you could still follow what was going on without, really paying a huge amount of attention to it. I'm not saying you sort of drift off. I'm just saying that I didn't find it. Yeah, it's certainly not a Game of Thrones, put it that way, if that makes sense. Where if you miss a key scene, then you find, you feel like you're an episode behind kind of thing.
Why is that man stabbing that other man now? I thought they were friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so confused. I must have missed something. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm zen.
I'm finding Stardew Valley very relaxing as well, because there's not a huge amount of narrative. A lot of the activities in that game are fun and relaxing. There's a little bit of repetitiveness to it, but it's not a repetitiveness that feels unfun, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's a good example. Games that I did definitely find to be the opposite, The Witness. That's a game that I cannot play to relax. Yeah, that's the complete opposite of that. That's just insanely difficult. I find Diablo 3 actually reasonably relaxing, because a lot of it is just mouse movement. It is a furious clicker. There's a bit of decision making to make in the game, and there is a bit of keyboard action in terms of using your abilities and stuff, but I don't know, I just don't find it...
Single or multiplayer?
Both, probably. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if that's the best example, but I think that's probably an example. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of them, to be fair. Games that have heavy themes too, I definitely wouldn't find relaxing. Like, That Dragon Cancer, definitely wouldn't play that for a relaxing session.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, how about you, Ollie? Do you think of any more?
I actually 100% agree with Luke on the multiplayer stuff. So
Interesting,
I'll define more by saying anything where it's distinctly PvP.
Oh, yeah, no, of course, yeah.
Yep.
Because I am a competitive son of a bitch at the best of times, and so that will not relax me. It'll still entertain me, but it won't relax. So anything where there's direct PvP, co-op is fine. Like a cooperative multiplayer is completely fine.
Actually, that's true. I didn't even think of that, yeah.
So I don't mind them.
In fact, that's probably even more relaxing because you can be crap and someone else will pick up the slack to a certain degree.
Or they'll be like, oh, did you think of this? No, I didn't. All right, I'll do that. Yeah. But yeah, direct PvP for me is one that won't. But apart from that, that's basically it, really. I don't mind like heavy narrative games or anything like that because for me they're just a different form of entertainment. My brain is far too rational. I'm sorry, audience. Forgive me.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being rational.
Tell that to everyone that hates me. So yeah, what type of games do I avoid? Yeah, Rocket League. Holy shit.
Yeah, that will get you worked up.
That game, man. Oof.
Yeah.
Mood swings between like, I am a prodigy at this game to why I'm going to uninstall this now.
I must admit, when I've heard you tell stories about Rocket League gaming recently, that's probably the most worked up I've seen you in conversation ever.
Yeah. Any game that you'd potentially rage quit out of does not enter into the types of games.
Yeah, but see, because I'm competitive, I have to go back because I have to get better.
Yeah, and then
So
it either
that's
compounds or it gets better.
Yeah, and it is slowly getting better, which is good.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well,
What else have we got? Types of games that are best for me. So for me personally, games that I know will literally make me start to zone out and slowly fall asleep is games like Minecraft.
Yeah.
So if I play Minecraft, by the end of that, I could probably have a nap.
Play a good solid session and have a nap.
Minus Ender Dragons being spawned on top of me.
Yeah.
Other than that, Minecraft is very relaxing. So I should say creative Minecraft more than survival. Because survival can have those moments of, oh shit, there's 15 skeletons between me and home.
Yeah.
It now makes sense. This is why I did the Ender Dragon thing. I just craved additional stimulation.
I think that's it. You just wanted to get us all worked
junkie.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I really
You're
am.
just a horrible person. Yeah.
Also true. All of the above.
Well, I mean, for me, Luke, you said it was weird that it's Minecraft. And I think for me, it's because in you guys talking, I realized that the way that I de-stress is I have a very active imagination. And so the way that I de-stress is to use that for fun things and not to imagine all of the horrible things that are going to happen if I fail or whatever else. So my imagination being used in Minecraft sense is great. Games like Journey, oh, man. Honestly, I think I played that game all day and I think I floated through the rest of that weekend. It was just so good. And it was just one of those, and everything in that kind of genre. And it was a little bit the same with Firewatch. Like, I got a little bit worked out with Firewatch because I got a bit involved in the story. And so I did start to get worried along with the characters when things start happening in the game. Now, but any opportunity for me to be creative, to use my imagination, or something like that, or to sort of see amazing sort of vistas and things like that, and that's where it's at for me because I don't get a lot of opportunities to do that IRL.
Yeah.
So
funny that you mentioned Journey. Just on that, I think I know Jamie did recommend to me when she first told me about Journey that it's a game that I should play in a single sitting, and I think that Ollie recommended the same as well.
Yeah, damn straight. You should definitely play it in a single sitting.
I
have. I finished it.
Okay.
But what I was about to say is that I actually couldn't get through that game in a single sitting. I had to play it over 3. And the reason is that it just... I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I really, really enjoyed it. But it didn't stimulate me enough. Like, at the time,
it was too relaxing.
Did you bump into anybody else?
Yeah, a few times, yeah. And during the first session when I sat down to play, I didn't. So I sort of got through that first session. And to be fair, I think that one was cut short because I had something else going on in the house that I had to sort of stop playing for some reason. But then when I came back to it, I couldn't play through the entire thing in the next sitting because I kind of got to a point where I was like, yeah, that feels like enough for now. I'll come back to it later.
I see. I had a bit of a charmed experience in Journey in particular in that I hopped on and sort of was playing and someone was watching me play. And then I sort of bumped into a person. I was like, well, I can't talk, but I can make these weird noises. And I couldn't quite decide whether or not, this person was a person from the game or if this was an actual person or what the deal was, because I only sort of bumped into, was in the middle of the desert and there was nobody else around, so I sort of continued along with the game, and I think I probably stuck with it at the time because I was with this person, and I suddenly came to this realization. We came up with a whole communication system of like yes and no by like running around in the sand, and realized that this is another person, some random person, and you don't ever see usernames or anything like that. The only difference you get is I think a little bit of difference in your cape. If that's entirely random.
Scarf.
The scarf thing, yeah. And it, honestly, that just really genuinely enjoyed that game and went into lots of different areas and mucked around with this person who I'll never know and potentially never see, we'll never see again, in all likelihood. And it was just really fantastic. So, and games like Journey and Firewatch, where you get that opportunity, what you call them walking simulators, but I don't mind them so much because I get to invest myself into a character and use my imagination for powers for good, which is fun.
See, walking simulator is a bit of a derogatory term. I mean, I try and use that sparingly because it does sound bad. Some games truly are a bit like that though, where there's very little decision to be made and the whole game's essentially played on rails. I mean, Firewatch to a certain extent was like that, but I think that the narrative, which was kind of the core experience of the game, there was enough variation in the narrative because you had a lot of conversational decisions that you could make, and it played out differently in that way. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the game was essentially on rails to a certain extent.
I figured out what kind of game also doesn't let me relax very much. Platformers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Ori and the Blind Forest.
Not relaxing
at all. Oh, my goodness, that game gets me so worked up and just, right on edge. There is definitely games that are not good for me. So GTA always gets me worked up.
But the wacky races.
The wacky races are just the worst.
I'm just thinking this is probably why I love platformers so much, because I almost always find them really stimulating.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yep.
Okay, so final point, because we chatted about our how great you guys are at dealing with stress and how shit I am at dealing with it. So enough now. So my question would be, I think there's a lot of games out there at the moment which are not made for relaxation, but they're definitely sort of more zen. Yeah, exactly. They've got this kind of quality to them. Their music around them is kind of a bit more chilled, and they're for more relaxed, and they'll usually be released on console only or for free or for something like that. So do you think that there's a space in there? So there's a lot of devs making games to make comment on things. Do you think there was a space for people to start making games in a genre of stress release or relaxation games?
I think it's certainly the opposite. There's definitely devs out there
fear-inducing anxiety attacked games.
I mean, they go out of their way to make games that will put people on edge. I mean, anything in the horror genre is a really good example of that, because you don't want your audience to be relaxed at any time. You want them to be ready to jump out of their seats. So
true.
FPS.
Yeah.
A relaxed FPS. What? That doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not really in terms of that there is a specific genre now. I'm just really talking about there's a lot of other games that they're making in terms of to address certain issues. And I guess there's a lot of them out there to talk about people who deal with depression or anxiety and things. And so I'm just wondering if there's a space in the industry for games that actually help people in those circumstances.
I think there definitely is. And I mean, I've done a huge amount of research into games from an educational perspective, sort of, in line with my job. That are designed to actually help people overcome significant trauma or incidents in their life that, are quite challenging, and they really need to sort of get back on their feet, sort of, physically, mentally, or psychologically. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the works of Jane McGonigal. She's a heavy activist in that area, sort of Games for Change and that sort of thing. She's actually created quite a number of games of that nature herself. Depression Quest is one that she's probably best known for. And a lot of her backstory is about actually getting seriously injured herself and designing games to help sort of pull her out of that slump and on the road to recovery. And a lot of that is about, incremental sort of challenge and objectives that she sort of sets to gradually sort of, work towards a goal that is almost escaping from the realities of, the crappy situation that she's in. And I think the same could be true of video games. I think there's lots of examples of games that are designed to really sort of reinforce that sense of escaping, which could be seen as, games for calm, even if they haven't sort of set out to do that specifically. I think it's probably more just trying to get people to escape their daily lives. So, I think I'm going to make a prediction for you personally, Imogen. I think that probably your next big one of those that will hit that chord with you may, in fact, end up being No Man's Sky. So.
Oh, for sure. I have no doubt that's what I was just about to mention. That a game like No Man's Sky is like a more evolved journey for me. I'll never see it's a multiplayer world, but I might never see another person. It'll be exciting if I do. But get to go out there and do my own thing, and I'm using my imagination. There's a whole world out there. So No Man's Sky for me, like the big part of that is that, I guess, escapism, which is kind of funny because in a lot of sort of, preliminary, information that we get given is sometimes the worst thing you can do when you have a problem is to just try and escape it rather than deal with it. But, maybe a type of coping is to get a little bit of perspective and some time away, but who knows? But yeah, No Man's Sky for sure. Yeah. Big time. Although it will be, not so stress releasing if I come across a planet and all of the animals are named after butts.
or there's pairs of deer running around making whining noises.
See, no, Tomb Raider, that game makes me angry. Oh my god.
There you go. I just figured out another type of game that we don't actually see very often enough. Humor games, comedic games.
Oh yeah. They could be great distresses actually in a different kind of way.
Yeah, Leisure Suit Larry, How to Fool Boyfriend.
Stick of Truth. Which
How to Fool Boyfriend. I'm yet to take the plunge on that one.
No, I'm saving it. Yeah, I'm saving it. Saving it till the end of the month when I've got some free time.
Relishing it.
He is.
I'm procrastinating
chomping at the bit.
Time.
You'll find it not enough stimulation probably, Luke.
Oh, but if there is enough stimulation in that game, that'll probably concern me more than anything else.
I guess as a final comment, I thought an interesting topic. I mean, obviously, maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but it's a big deal in our communities. We see a lot at cons of people avoiding them or not sure how to interact with other people, and maybe this is something we'll see more of is games trying to encourage people to escape a little bit or to chill out or to stimulate them to make them more excited and more into the moment. Who knows? But thanks for bearing with me on my topic that I came up with yesterday.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's right. I'll say that for almost any person, there is a game that will help them de-stress and relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
It'll be different for every person, but there is a game for every person to relax to.
And sometimes it could be a game that, to most other people isn't in itself relaxing, but because it's a game that person's so used to, it's kind of their comfort zone. It's their
or hits
safety
that button
blanket.
that they need.
Yeah, exactly.
And just, because I feel like it's our duty of care, if you are listening and you are feeling like everything's a bit much, then you can go and speak to someone. There's always organisations like Beyond Blue and Lifeline and other things like Youth Focus if you are younger, if you want to go chat to somebody, because I feel like that's our duty.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. And, if that doesn't work, dropping a few sticks of TNT on someone in Minecraft is always good relaxation too, I find. Blow off a bit of steam, as it were.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, if anyone else has any other suggestions for games that they find calming or therapeutic in that way, I guess we'd be interested to hear them. So,
Doom.
Please, I could do with some. Please untangle my mind.
Yeah. Doom. Play Doom.
Yeah,
Blow
play
apart
Doom.
hell demons with a shotgun.
That would be very relaxing.
It's funny you mentioned that because in the scheme of some of the shooters that we've been mentioning in the scope of this episode, that may in fact be the most relaxing option out of all of them. Because, running...
I'll find it very therapeutic.
Yeah, exactly. Just running around, unleashing mad, unhinged carnage compared to actual strategy in a team shooter. I think that'd be a lot more relaxing. So.
Yeah, rage release, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. No, that'd be a good way to do it. But
Imagine
anyway, if
that
you've
I'm
got
a
some
demon badass.
if you've got some suggestions for games like that, send them in to us at our email. You can hit us up at mail@partyloaded.com. And of course, we can get the chat going on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/partyloaded. We can be also found on Twitter at partyloadedshow. We are available for chat on our Steam group if you wish, or you can even leave comments for us as part of a review on iTunes. So if you've enjoyed the show, then please pop on and give us some of your thoughts there too. That would be greatly appreciated. Yeah. So what sort of games do you think Jamie might be playing while she's sick to relax?
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley?
Yeah, something she doesn't have to jump on Mumble for. Well, right now she's playing a great game called Sleep.
It's a game that I lose every time.
Yeah, you
sleep.
don't have many
Really good
hours
game.
in that game.
No, I haven't clocked off too many levels in that game.
I'm awesome at that game.
Yeah.
Man, if that was an actual
MLG
game.
as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be playing after this episode.
My KDR in Sleep would be super high. Or low. You know what I mean.
Oh, no. All right, well, I've got far too many stimulating activities to do before I bed down for the night, so
That's disturbing.
not that
That's
kind
between
of,
you and the internet browser,
That's a
Luke.
different kind of relaxation. Anyway.
You have been that dodgy asshole all episode. Ollie and I can have our 5 seconds of fame. Thank you.
Yep, that's fair.
Sure. What would you like to do for your 5 seconds?
You are a horrible person.
And scene.
All right. That's it for this week. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you same time again next week. Bye for now.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.